Hey guys, good Friday morning to everybody. I hope you have had a fantastic week. We definitely appreciate your time in joining us today. We probably have one of our coolest town halls on the schedule for today. So we have four of our top producing agents that are joining us. We have Miss Kathy Jarrett, Mr. Jeff Harris, Mr. Ronnie Reagan, and Mr. Matthew Sarbone, all of which are going to share some tips and tricks with how they have gotten so successful in this industry with you. I'm not going to take up much of your time today at all. I don't have nearly the interesting things to say that they do. So we are going to jump right in with Miss Kathy Jarrett, who took some time off of a day off to join us. Miss Kathy has turned small town marketing into a big business. So I'm going to let her take it away. Please feel free to unmute yourself or type in any questions, and we will field those to Miss Kathy as they come in. So Miss Kathy, thanks for joining us, and you can take it away, ma'am.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. And I didn't know what the headline was going to be on there. So, but I do. I live in a small town in the North Georgia mountains. We are in the middle. The whole area is the retirement area. There's tons of seniors up here. And I've been doing this for 25 years, and I've done everything. I do health fairs, and I do business expos, and I speak to small groups, and continually run ads in the local newspaper, which is a once a week deal. But also years ago, I started partnering with other entities. First, it was with a certified financial planner's office. And then for the last 17 years or so, I've been partnering with PNC companies. So I rent office space from them. I work with them. It provides me with free access basically to their book of business. And then some of the people that come in just to see me from referrals or other marketing areas or whatever, I refer them for their home and auto and commercial business, and it's a win-win situation. I do have hardcore brick and mortar offices. I do think that helps, at least in our area, because a lot of the seniors up here aren't tech savvy, don't have internet. Some of them don't want it anymore because they've worked at it for years. So that's kind of the way it is. And the PNC office I work with now has offices in 3 different towns and 3 different counties. So I'm spread across all of North Georgia and a little bit into Western North Carolina and Tennessee.
That's pretty awesome. And I'm sure even just having you in their office also works to help them generate business. Is that accurate?
It does. It started from the fact that, we're in a niche market. I mean, Medicare and health insurance, and it's a totally separate license from the PNC, that kind of thing. And I would get referrals from them. I get referrals from other PNC offices even. But one time I started talking to one, and they said, we got an empty office. Would you want to come and work out of here full time and just start helping our clients? And I said, yeah, as long as I can keep doing what I'm doing. So I'm independent. I work for myself. I set my own hours. But it just works out as a win-win for all of us.
Yeah, that partnership definitely seems to have its benefits, that's for sure. Any questions for Miss Kathy? Any comments that you guys would like to make? Again, you can take yourself off of mute. It's your opportunity to dig in and learn how some very successful agents are doing their business. The first question's always the hardest. Breaking that ice on the first question, and then they'll start rolling in after that.
Well, hopefully I've told them enough they don't have to ask a question. But
I have
That's
a
also
question.
accurate. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how did you start that relationship with the PNC insurance business? Did you know the people there, prior to working in their office, or how did that come to be about?
I did know them prior to the one that I'm actually in now. We started discussing this at a wedding reception. Our children had mutual friends and they were getting married. And so we sat together at the wedding reception, and she started talking and said, hey, would you mind if I started referring people to you? And so for the first couple of years, and at that point in time, I was working out of another office that I did know somebody to know. But I said, yeah. She said, you can come to our offices, a day or here, there, or whatever. And it just turned out to be more lucrative because it was in my hometown. So it was more convenient, and we just kind of grew from there. But yes, it was because of people I knew and contacts I had made, like the CFP I worked with. I met them, I think, through a Chamber of Commerce thing or something like that. So, but I've been doing this for 25 years. So it's a small town, and it's easy to meet a lot of people here. I'll be honest about that.
But it's all in starting the conversation, right? It wouldn't go anywhere if you didn't start the conversation.
Exactly. Yeah. And like I say, right now, a couple of the other PNC companies in town, they know I do this, and they refer people. I get calls all the time that so-and-so at State Farm told me to call you, things like that, because they know I do that sort of thing. So.
Well, guys, if you have any additional questions, again, at any point, come off mute, chat them in. Brandon is great at fielding us those questions. But we are going to keep rolling, Miss Kathy. I really do appreciate your time, especially knowing that it was your day off. So thank you so much for joining us. If you jump off, I completely understand. If not, you are welcome to stay on and join us through the rest of this. Up next, I think when Brandon changes the slide for me, yep, we have Mr. Jeff Harris. He is going to talk about a few things, but one of the biggest things is how to keep pushing forward under any objections. No can be the hardest thing to hear, but there's a million different ways to get around that. So Jeff, I'm going to turn it over to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Courtney, and thank you, Kathy, for that testimony there. My business, I've been in the business since '07, so I've been in a pretty good number of years too. I'm in the North Georgia market as well, just south of Chattanooga. And my business really has been built almost extremely organic. And what I mean by that is I don't spend money in marketing or any kind of mail outs or any kind of what we would typically see or know as some marketing attempts. And I just, when I started my business in '07, there wasn't near as many agents to compete with. So I just used the word of mouth concept from the very start. So I've built my business on an organic platform. But as I went through the years, yes, you get to know some of the PNC agents, some of the financial advisors, and some other folks that are what I call drivers. To me, a driver is who I might have try to develop a relationship with. And a driver is simply somebody who works in the senior market, but they don't actually sell or have connections to Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security or anything like that. So a driver is a person that can send me individuals that are turning 65 or have complex health questions. But most of my business has been built organically. Now, we're actually going to be changing some of our platform in 2025, and we're going to incorporate more of the PNC outreaches, providers, primary care doctors, specialists, and stuff of that nature. But one thing I did want to address, again, not really knowing how this was going to go forward. One of the topics was success, and really what I wanted to just kind of simply state here was, people have differing concepts or ideas of what success is. And most people look at success as, has something to do with monetary factors. They're successful because they make this much money, or they're successful because they have this, that, and that toy or whatever. But the way I've looked at all success is, and I've got my own definition of success, but if we're looking at success as being strictly a monetary factor, I think we're missing the boat. And I believe that money, revenue, compensation, whatever we want to call it, really is a byproduct of success. So, success to me really is getting in with the client, getting a relationship built with that client, servicing that client. But you as an agent, the key factor to success is being studying our craft, being the expert, being absolutely the go-to person when it comes to some of these difficult and complex questions. But I have done the only real marketing I do is there's a local TV station that many people think nobody watches, but they actually do. And I started doing that program. I only do it in the fall during the enrollment period, and it's I'll go on a little local channel here and I'll take a Q&A, Medicare Q&A, and I'll have people call in all the time and ask about this scenario, that scenario. But I get so many calls off of that show each fall during the enrollment period that it's just hard to keep up with them actually. But that's the only outside of that one little TV show that I do in the fall. That's the only actual marketing that I actually do.
That's pretty cool. That's a local TV station, correct? And it hits
It is.
just a certain subset of counties that really work very well for you.
That's right. That's right.
And Jeff, what do you think the key once you're sitting in front of a client is to overcoming what could be a potential objection with theirs? Like,
I think the key to objections is, like I was saying earlier, is you got to study your craft. You got to know the answers before they ask you the question. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, if you as an agent don't get into this business and don't decide from day one, or at least some part of your initial career in this business, that nobody is going to outwork you. Nobody is going to outthink you, and nobody is going to outstudy you. If you've got that mindset going into this business, there's no objection that's going to be too strong that comes before you. Because I mean, you just got to know what the objections are, and you got to have you just got to have the answer. Because if you think about it, we work in I think it's a very simplistic field. Everybody thinks it's difficult, but it's not if you know the answers and you've studied up on what the possible objections are. So really, you got to remember the client don't know the first thing about this Medicare transition, and we do. And just a quick story on that. When I first got in the business in 07, I didn't know the first thing about insurance. It just came out of my paycheck every Thursday. And when I got in the business, as a local broker here in Chattanooga, and it was 1 year into the Medicare PDP stuff. So, I mean, everybody was confused that year. So I remember when I went to work for him, I sat down after about 10 minutes of training and he handed me a stack of leads and said, start calling them. And I couldn't even pronounce the prescriptions, much less advise on them. So, but I remember the advice that was given to me at that moment. And the guy said, and he was a young guy, he was probably in his early 20s. He said, look, all you got to know is just a little bit more than them, and you're the expert. Okay, so, and that's the truth. Most of these people that transition into Medicare, they don't know that much. They don't have a lot of objections, really. So you as an agent, if you're not studied up to know what those objections are ahead of time and be prepared for them, that's where you as an agent have to study. Studying and getting ourselves prepared is the easiest thing for us to do. The hardest thing for us to do is get in front of clients. So if we don't do our homework first and we're not prepared ahead of time, getting in front of the client could be a waste of our time. And who wants to waste our time, right? Because every single client's important when we get in front of them. We don't want them going to the next person. Or if we do, we got to have confidence that we're going to be more prepared than that person that they're the other person that they're going to go talk to, or the person that they just left. Just knowing your craft better than anybody else.
Yeah, and I think that speaks true, especially as new carriers come into markets, new products. I mean, we saw in some markets tons of attrition with old plans coming out and new plans coming in. You guys are heavily relied upon to understand those plans, to explain the differences, etc. And as we go into a huge diversification push into new products with ancillary and life products, really studying just one at a time and getting to know those plans and products really set you apart from a lot of these agents, especially the call center agents that are out there who know really nothing other than this is a plan that they get paid for. They're going to sell it regardless. So great point there, Jeff. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? It looks like we got one here in the chat. Do any of you guys use a CRM? Any of you have your own CRM? Yeah. Do you like the CRM that you're using? That's good. Okay. Ronnie, you want to come off mute and tell us what CRM it is that you use?
I started using Medicare Pro about the middle of the year last year, and it's just changed my world. It's inexpensive. I think I spend $55 a month for it. It's got a little mobile app, so I'm always connected to my clients' information, no matter where I'm at. If I'm on a cruise somewhere, or if I'm at the house, or if I'm at the office, or whatever. I love the simplicity of it. It doesn't take me but probably a minute after I close out the meeting and I write an app. It takes me about literally 60 seconds to put them in to my Medicare Pro. And it's very user friendly. So that's something I need. I'm challenged technology wise. So it helps me out tremendously. It's something I should have done a long time ago. The only negative is that it's taken me, my wife Brandy and I have been entering past clients for months now and still don't have everything entered. So I won't make that mistake again. But Medicare Pro, like I said, I think it's $55 a month, and I think there's a bundle package you can get that you could buy as an office and share with agents. I can't remember, but I think that's what we pay is $55 a month.
Cool. And do any of you, just because the question's here instead of waiting till the end, any of you have any retention tips? Is there anything that you do that you feel works really well, especially in the lead up to AEP or OEP, that helps you retain your clients instead of them fishing elsewhere?
I try to send out mailings. I used to call people, but there's too many to do that now. But everybody gets a letter before AEP. It might say there's not a lot of changes with drug plans, but look at your annual notice of change. Do this. If you need to call me, go ahead and call me. Let's get you scheduled in and that kind of thing. But I know you're supposed to touch base with them more often than that, and some of them I do, but everybody before AEP gets some kind of email, snail mail letter, some kind of contact.
I think staying in touch and making sure they remember to call you is definitely key. Okay. Well, we appreciate that question, Titus. Thank you very much. And we are going to get right into our next subject, which I think for especially some of the brand new agents could be very, very helpful. Matt Sarbone is going to talk about how to really work a lead. And you guys, if you decide to pay for leads and do lead drops, you want to make sure that it is definitely worth your money and your investment. And I think that Matt will be able to shed some light on that for you. So Matt, if you are still on, because my screen has changed a little bit, if you want to go ahead and get started, I will let you have it, sir.
Of course. Yeah. So I've been in the industry for almost like 2 to 3 years now. My dad's done it for a long time. I've always been in his ear, just not even on purpose, listening to how the business goes and how the phone calls are demonstrated with Medicare as well as life insurance. And luckily with National Contracting Center, if you're going to use a lead source, you have to make sure it's good. And they have a lot of sources and they're always there to help you make sure that you're getting the good information. It's not always the best to just go for any lead source that you see on Google or the internet because you don't know if they work and you don't know if you're just not doing a good job or you're just wasting your money because it's a bad lead source. So I would go through National Contracting Center to talk to them about the leads to make sure at least you're having the right source. But to make leads work for you, you have to make sure you know the client. When you call these people, you don't know if they're making $4,000 a month on Social Security. You don't know if they're making $1,000. So every case is just so much different than the next one. Whether they're on Medicaid, because then they get a big food card, or if they're just on, they don't have even LIS, which is like low income subsidy, they get extra help for their prescriptions, or if they have nothing, every case is just so much different. So before you even go into the client and find out what their needs are and where they're struggling about with the plan they have now, or if they're just getting introduced to Medicare, it's essential to know the client. And to make leads work for you also, you need to have a referral system. You have to make sure once you're done with the client and you help them, some of these people are living off Social Security, they're getting $900 a month, $1,000 a month. These people are hurting for money. And if you're able to get them a food card that has $300 a month on it, or if you're able to get them the $3,000 of dental that they didn't even know they had, you're their hero. Because, this is a big deal in these people's lives. It's like 30% of their income. So if you can have like a positive interaction with them and make sure they feel like you're the leader and you really change their life, they're going to stick with you forever. You get calls all the time. Hey, Matt, I heard this on TV. Is this true? And I'm like, well, this is for people with, Medicaid, then they're not on Medicaid, or, they hear some little advertisement that's just not correct to their case. It's important to make sure they know that you're the guy to talk to and not these people that are advertising such things. So what I really refer on also is when you're done with the client and, you're off the phone with them and you sell them, call them in 2 months to make sure they know how to get the food card. Sometimes they don't get it in the mail from these carriers. Their mailing system is so back that they never receive their card and they forget about it. So you just call them to make sure they have all their plan materials, whether it's a $250 a month food card, $300 a month, to make sure that it's activated. They know where to use it, how it works. And also to see if they have anyone else interested, because they may have a few friends that are interested. And having referrals work for you is by far and away the best side of this business. Leads can get expensive, so you have to make sure you have as much impact as you can on each lead that you buy. And so just knowing the client, getting a referral system, and knowing the product is essential. And that's just more of the Medicaid side, the food cards. But it works on both hands because some of these people say they've had the same plan for 3 or 4 years. They haven't done any prescription checks. They're paying, say, $100, $200 a month for their prescriptions. You're able to go on like Medicare.gov, find out the cheapest medication system for them and put them in that plan. You're saving them $100 a month. They're going to love you just as much as the person that you just got a food card or extra dental for. So you really need to learn about the client and what their situation is and then assess from it. And just like Jeff said, you need to know the client as well as you need to understand the market and the plans out there to make sure they're getting the best, bang for their buck, basically.
So asking your clients lots of fact-finding questions is definitely helpful in making sure that you're getting them the right plan. Is that correct?
Yeah. And again, they're going to know a lot of people. Like they may live in a house with their husband, their kids, they're on disability. There's a lot of different people on Medicare. It's not just 65 and older. And even people who are veterans, they think like, oh, I'm a veteran, I go to the VA for everything. They don't realize, there's plans out there that will actually give them money back in their Social Security check. So there's a lot of different routes. And that's what's so great about this industry is there's just so many different ways to do it. And there's so many different successful ways. And I didn't really talk about this, but I also do life insurance. And you know, the most televised, the most marketed thing in this industry, or even insurance period, is just you go on TV, every 10 commercials, there's 5 of them are being on Medicare, and people are tired and sick of hearing it. So another different way of like cross-selling them is if you take care of their life insurance, you know, it's such an easier sale now that you're going to go switch to the health insurance side.
Yeah, using the product, the difference in products to really feed your leads moving forward is a huge benefit, because if if you pay $40-50 for a lead and you don't get a sale, but you ask for referrals and you get 2 sales off of referrals, that makes up your price for that lead, even though that particular person didn't work out. Same thing, if they have their Medicare handled, they're on the best plan for them, but you're offering some ancillary products, life insurance, hospital indemnity, anything like that, that's going to pay for your lead. So don't be short-sighted when it comes to stuff like that. Offer multiple product lines. And if they have somebody in-house, they might have grandchildren or younger children living with them, might have to sell an ACA product or something like that. There's tons of availability out there for you to make the most out of any visit, whether it's a lead or a referral. Any other suggestions, Matt, on what they could do to grow their business as somebody just starting in? Because in 2 years into business, you've made one heck of a splash, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, again, even if you have the client on the book, there's always a way to sell, whether it's a different product or finding out who they know that may be interested in such thing. And, you know, at the end of the day, if you're viewed as a hero and you do your job, you make such an impact on these people's lives. They will give you phone numbers. They'll give people's phone numbers to call from you. So, you know, it's really just making sure you have a positive impact and making sure, you know, you call them, and whether it's a month or down the line, 2 months, they remember you. You can mail them your business card. That works as well. But just to make sure they have your name synced into their head, they're like, wow, this guy really helped me out. Let me call him again for this person. Or, you know, every year plans change a lot. Medications, you know, the prescriptions change a lot. Some plans, if you're on Medicaid, the food cards drop a significant amount. These people sometimes are willing to switch for $20 or $30 a month. And you as the agent, you're going to lose them if you don't adapt and adjust. So you need to make sure they know who to call when it's time to switch.
Absolutely. Those are some fantastic points. And I think what you're going to notice throughout this entire webinar is all of our agents on here that are talking today, they have different ways of going about it, but the same process is always there. So again, please come off mute, ask any questions that you have, type them into the chat. These people are more than willing to help you grow your business because somebody's helped them along the way as well. So we are going to jump right over to Mr. Ronnie Reagan. Ronnie does some really interesting marketing via print, commercial marketing, and radio. I'm sure he's going to talk about a few other things, but those are definitely some opportunities that I think Ronnie can help you with. So, sir, you can take it away.
Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate the invite. Good morning from West Tennessee. I don't know where y'all are from, but we've had an amazing, beautiful week all week long here in West Tennessee. 75 degrees and sunny all week. So sure beats 3 degrees from last week. So basically what I want to do just for a few moments is just kind of give you just a little background in where I came from and what I've tried and what I think is successful in how we've grown our practice here in West Tennessee. My dad used to always have this saying, there's nothing new under the sun, meaning that whatever's been done has already been done in some form or fashion, but there's nothing new under the sun. You've just got to make it your own. And so I've tried to do that my entire life. I served as a full-time ministry for 20-something years and retired from full-time ministry in 2014. Had no clue what was next for me and my family. My wife and I have been together now 35 years. We have 5 grown kids, no grandkids yet, but hopefully that'll happen soon. But had no clue what was next for us. And I kind of stumbled into life insurance with a large company in early 2015. Didn't enjoy myself, didn't feel like it was satisfying me, didn't feel like I was full of joy that I once was. I wanted to serve people and help people. And so I was with that large company about 18 months, I think it was. And the gentleman that hired me knew I was struggling with it. And he looked at me one day and said, "Hey, you know what? You might ought to try Medicare." I said, "What is Medicare?" I didn't know what Medicare was. And so that was in probably late 16, I guess it was by then. And so I started just kind of digging around and asking questions about Medicare and what it was and how could I help people. And little did I know that was going to create a springboard for me to do something that I am so passionate about, and that's helping seniors make good choices. And I think that's one of the main things that we miss as agents is Jeff, great comments on knowing the product. And we got to know it, right? I mean, this is something we got to do. We've got to know the product. We've got to know Medicare. We got to be the expert. When they have the hard questions, they got to come find us, and we can help them with that. And so I think that's right on. Everything that Kathy's talked about and Matt's talked about, I think that's right on with everything. But one thing I think one of the main things that we miss is being passionate about serving others and helping people. There are so many, let me say this the kindest way I can. There's so many yahoos on the phone that just care nothing about writing a plan. They care nothing about that person. They care nothing about if their doctor's in network. They care nothing about if their medications are covered. They care nothing about if they're in a good plan or not. They just want to get their quota for the day and make their commission and move on to the tomorrow. And to me, that's a travesty of our industry. Um, and so for me personally, I've done it all. I've done everything possible that I could think of in Medicare. What I mean by that is I've worked the soup kitchens. I've done the low income housings. I've gone and played bingo with them. I've done everything that I can think of. I've worked in pharmacies. I've worked in major clinics. I've stopped by every dental office in West Tennessee. I've done health fairs. I've done billboards. I've done radio advertisement. I do Facebook. I've done everything. I've gone to churches since that was my past, and I've shared with senior groups in churches. But at the end of the day, what I feel like that retains and makes my personal production success in my eyes and hopefully in others as well is that I'm passionate about serving the senior market and making sure that they have the right plan. I think it was Matt that said a while ago talking about seeing these folks that are surviving on $900 or $1,000 a month, and that if I can come in and help them in some form or fashion with something, whether it be a food card, whether it be a dental plan, whether it be a Medicare Part C plan, whatever it might be, just to give them a little bit better life is my passion. And that's what drives me every day to get up and answer the phone calls that I get all day long, just like you do. The service work that we have is tremendous now. But it's the thing that gets me up and answers the calls and gets going the next day and makes appointments and still continue to do these type of things that I've always done, and just to try to drive business. It's just I think one of the missing pieces that if you're not passionate about it, I wonder if maybe you might find something else to do that you are passionate about. I don't see myself retiring anytime soon. I see myself sharing this wonderful gift that I was given back in 2016 with as many agents that will listen and that want to listen and that have a passion to grow and want to help others as well. One thing I will say, some low-hanging fruit that I kind of stumbled across this past AEP was Farm Bureau agents are dying on the vine. What I mean by that is they need your help. I stopped by and visited a few of them this AEP, and I've received more leads from them because they no longer do drug plans. And I received more leads from them than I have anything else that I've ever tried in the 8, 9 years I've been in the business. Now, you got to respect them because they write a lot of supplemental insurance, and I don't try to steal their supplemental plans. I write all their drug plans for them. But if a client wants information about a Part C plan or a supplemental, I help them with it. But I also let that agent know, hey, this lead you sent me, they asked me questions, and I did write their plan for them. I just want you to know that I'm not actively pursuing to steal your clients, but if they ask me, I'm going to do that. So I just think passion and desire and drive and all that to do the right thing always and to help the senior market will retain your business. That's one thing that I think somebody asked a question about retention a while ago. In my personal humble opinion, if you do the right thing up front, explain it extremely well, know your product, know everything about it, retention handles itself a lot of times. There's going to be some of those yahoos that are going to jump plan to plan to plan to plan, but by and large, I think if you do the right thing, retention will take care of itself.
Absolutely. I really do appreciate the fact that everything you guys are saying is so different, but it echoes each other in such great ways. I mean, just from starting a conversation, whether it's with a local business or, a client to ask for a referral or, just even talk to them to get to know them better, to really understanding your plans, your area, your clients, and knowing exactly what you're going in there to talk about. That key business part echoes through all of you guys. And it's a huge reason why every single one of you are on our front runners list, and you're getting the sales that you're getting every single year. So guys, this is your opportunity to ask Miss Kathy, Jeff, Matt, and Ronnie any question that you have. I know there was a chat somewhere. I don't know where it went. I'm also not that tech savvy, believe it or not. I could barely figure out my own camera this morning. So, but I think the question was, how did you guys get set up with NCC? And have we been able to provide you value? And you're more than welcome to be completely candid about that as possible.
Blue Cross Blue Shield contract for me, essentially. I've known of NCC for many years. As a matter of fact, when I started out, I had one of my very first contracts with NCC, and that was the Guaranteed Trust Life product. It didn't really do much work with it because I'm primarily a supplement agent. But the renewing of our relationship came through the Blue Cross Blue Shield contract for Tennessee, and I'm glad of it. It's been good working for you guys from day one. It's been at times a struggle, not between me and NCC, but we've had some complexities together that we've been able to just push right through. So I look forward to even a growing relationship with NCC. But I wanted to echo something that Ronnie said a minute ago about passion. And he said that, if you're not in this business and you don't have that passion, you might as well do something else, go sell cars or something, because you won't be happy in this business. It's hard enough to make it with the changes in Medicare that we've experienced, especially over the last 3 to 4 years, and some of the difficulties of just the client relationship sometimes can be very tasking. But if you don't have the passion for this business, you might want to save yourself a couple of years of effort and maybe find something else that you do have passion for. Because my first sales job, I found out in the first year that I didn't have passion for it. And luckily, I learned that lesson early and was able to move on pretty quick and actually just found this Medicare space. But good point, Ronnie, and appreciate everybody's input here.
Well, I want to add something else to Ronnie. Definitely, you got to have a passion for it. But I've never seen or considered myself a salesman. I provide a service to people, and I help them. And I think, I don't worry about how much money I'm making when I'm making a sale. It's what can I do to help them? And then it multiplies, because they do. They tell their friends, they tell their neighbors, and you get back what you put into it. I actually was referred to NCC years ago by one of the insurance company reps. We were at a meeting, NCC was there. Courtney, it might have been before your time, because Connie's the one that recruited me.
Yes, ma'am.
And she said, I was with somebody else. I mean, Knoxville's about 3 hours from me. And if I need to see y'all in person, I can. You come to me sometimes. That's wonderful. You've been really helpful. But I was missing out on the support and things. And NCC is so great about keeping up with contracts, keeping up with compliance things. Hey, you need to do this. You've got to start recording phone calls, and you've got to do that. And y'all are just very valuable to me. I couldn't do it without you.
We appreciate that very much. We can't do it without you guys either. So please remember that.
And to add to that as well, I agree with Kathy 1,000%. I don't know any other industries where a sale like this is such a thing, because these people need it. If you sell cars, you sell a house, you have different options. Medicare, you're 65 and above, you have to be on it unless you have employer insurance. So this is like a rare instance where you can have a sales job, but you're also not really selling, you're just providing a service. And the way I found NCC was just through my dad. It's all I ever known. But on like a Facebook insurance group, I read all the comments, and I hear all these uplines having issues with their FMOs and how it's just a bad relationship. And with NCC, if you ever have any questions, you pick up the phone, they're going to call you, or they're going to answer the call every single time. There's a lot of support. They help you with leads. They help you find different ways to market. They'll never give up on you. So I think, by you guys even being on this call, you're very lucky, and you have a great opportunity ahead. And just to add a little bit more to that, they call you, say every couple of weeks I get a call, just say, hey, Matt, how's it going? Like, do you need anything, or is there any support? Do you have any questions? And that just goes a long way to show you they really care about you, and, they put you guys first.
We definitely appreciate that. Ms. June, NCC, we have sales development managers. They are going to be a huge mentor for you as far as, helping you get started, giving you ideas, etc. We also do have agents and agencies who want to grow. And if that's something that you would like to pursue, please have a conversation with your sales development manager. If you want some more hands-on help, we can definitely match you up with an agent or an agency who is close to your area, potentially willing to really dig in hands-on, do some ride-alongs with you, etc. So yes, those resources are definitely available for someone who's brand new into the industry. That compassion and passion for Medicare is going to go a long, long way. So we can definitely help you get started. But start with your sales development manager, and then we'll get you to the proper people from there. Well, guys, as always, want to be very respectful of your time. It is absolutely a pleasure to talk to every single one of you every time we get to chat. So I want to thank you so much for your time and your candor today, and the amount of knowledge that you shared with everybody. It's greatly appreciated. And everybody who joined us, we appreciate your time as well. We hope that you found some value from these high producing agents and agency owners. I know I did. It's just nice and refreshing to hear that baseline solid. I hate to call it a sales technique. It is, but it's not. It's a service to their clients. And it's the reason that they're able to stay in business and make such a great business out of it. So thank you guys so much. It's a pleasure to work with you, and we value your partnership more than you'll ever know. So we hope to talk with you soon. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll be in touch. Thank you guys.